All right, guys, thank you and welcome to our weekly Wednesday call. We have a special guest today. A lot of you probably, this is how I know her. She's still Meg Wazinski to me. She probably will be for the rest of her life. Because when I was coming up in this business, I remember following Meg for all sorts of inspiration. So it's now Meg Kozlowski. She got married. They have a little girl. Do you guys know what you're having next?
A little boy. Yeah.
Okay, I think maybe I knew that, but she is mama of almost two. She is a superstar diamond coach, 7-time elite coach. She is a multi-million-dollar earner. She's been in Success Club for 88 months straight, you guys. So I think that speaks a lot to her consistency in the business over almost 8 years. So I am so excited for you guys to hear from Meg today. And if we have any questions, we'll kind of just save those for the end. So feel free to throw them in the chat. But Meg, I will turn it over to you and let you kick us off.
Sure. I am so honored to talk to you guys. And honestly, you guys, I think about it, and even talking about the cruise, like thinking about the first cruise that I saw people go on, it's been so long since I've been a part of this company. And for those of you that hear those stats, and I know what I do when I hear stats on calls, I immediately disconnect myself from that person. And I'm like, well, they've been able to do this, this, and this, probably because of this, this, and this, and we have nothing in common. And I want you guys to kind of just push those stats out of the way, because when it comes down to it, every single person building their business, they're just normal people. They're normal people who have gotten out of their own way and pushed it to the next level. And for me, Success Club, yeah, you think 88 months in a row. I had to I'm not good with math. I had to be like, how many years is that? I was thinking about it because someone asked something on the wall. I'm like, my God, I don't even know how many years that is. I was a diamond coach before I was consistently hitting Success Club. And I'm not saying that wait until you're a diamond coach to start hitting it consistently, but I want you to know that if you're not consistently hitting it right now, this is the time to start doing it, okay? Because if you're not focusing on growing your business with new clients and new coaches every single month, you're not ever going to be able to switch to that hobby coach, from the hobby coach to the business coach mentality, okay? So like Leslie said, I've been in the business for about 9.5 years at this point, you guys. And I was a discount coach. I came in with the amazing and beautiful Janelle Summers that you guys all know. I was her assistant. She got me hooked on Shakeology, and I said, I cannot afford this without getting the discount. I was going to get my master's in public health nutrition. I was super duper young. Okay, so don't discount those young people. I was 22 years old, and I had a degree in nutrition. So on paper, everyone would be like, she would be an amazing coach, right? We see these youngins come in and take off because they have nothing holding them back. But I had so many things holding me back. I had all of these limiting beliefs of why I couldn't be a successful Beachbody coach, because I was looking at every other coach. I was looking at the top 10 at that time that was Christine Dwyer in my upline, Janelle, and, some other names. And I'm like, I don't have that beautiful one. Now I have beautiful blonde hair and I just got it highlighted. But I don't have at that time it was the puffy big hair, and they wore stilettos and I hate wearing stilettos, and they had these amazing bodies and I didn't have that. And I had this whole list of things. I didn't have kids. What was I thinking? Who needs, kids pull away from the business at times, right? So I was like, I don't have kids. I can't be successful in a business like this. I don't have a husband. I can't be successful in this business. We all have these reasons that we're telling us why we can't be successful. And I let those hold me back for a really long time, you guys. And finally, I got over myself. And it wasn't until 2 years into the business, I had a full-time job that I hated, and I had just met my husband, and, he was not liking the person that I was when I came home from work, and I realized that it was affecting our relationship, and I said, I got to make a change, because this is not how my life is going to play out. I want children in the future, and I want to be present, and I want to be a happy person, and I'm not a happy person right now. And I had this beautiful gift in front of me that I wasn't banking on. And the only thing that was holding me back was myself. And I want you guys to think about that. The only thing holding you back from taking your business to the next level, whatever you want to achieve, is you. It's not because you don't have so-and-so as your upline. You guys have amazing uplines in Leslie and Anita. It's not because you don't have the best social media or the best pictures. Mine are not that good still. Okay, I'm working on it, but they're still not great. I'm not good at that stuff. It's not because you don't have the perfect scripts. It's you, okay? It's you with these limiting beliefs holding you back, okay? So the first thing that I had to do was I had to crush those limiting beliefs. And I had to say, okay, you need to stop doing this to yourself, because when you have children in the future, you want to be able to tell them, hey, Mommy went for her goals, so you can too. And you've watched Mommy go for her goals and get out of her own way, right? So number one, make sure that you are crushing those limiting beliefs. If you're not reading, which I'm sure probably everyone is, Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis, I'm sure you're all reading it, right? You need to listen to that or read it. I have the book and the Audible, because I'm like, okay, if there's something she says that I want to be able to go back and share with my team, I have that chapter to be able to go back and look at it instead of like having to listen to it again. But she helps you kind of go through these limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves. And there's so many resources to help you with that. We won't spend too much time on that. But until you crush those limiting beliefs, you're not going to go anywhere in your business. Because I've seen coaches, even on my own team and myself, that have had these beliefs that you might kind of push aside for a second, and you're like, oh, I've totally overcame that. And then you start crushing it, and then it comes back and smacks you right in the face, right when you think that you've completely overcame it. So it's something that you're going to have to work on a daily basis, okay? Number two, you guys, you got to create the discipline muscle, okay? So if we're switching from a hobby coach to a business coach mentality, you've got to create your discipline muscle. This business is not going to work itself. It's you doing the things that you need to do every single day, just like a workout. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to see those results overnight. I wish we could, but you don't. You have to do it every single day until it becomes a habit. And yes, there's going to be days when you don't want to do it. But the difference between being a hobby coach and a full-time coach is that the mindset of the full-time coach is that they're going to do it regardless, no matter how they feel. They're going to show up every single day, even when they have crappy days. And guess what? When you show up for this business and you're pouring into other people, if you're having a crappy day, by the end of that work day, you're in a way better mood. Now, if you're a hobby coach, you're going to work it when it's convenient for you. And I see that way too many times where people are like, oh, my kid was sick. Hey, guess what? My daughter puked on me like 3 months. I think it was January. She was puking, and hopefully you guys don't think I'm a horrible mom for this, but I knew that I needed to work my business that day. So she's sleeping next to me. I've already cleaned up the puke. I was a single mom at the time because Kirk was at work for that day. And she's sleeping next to me, and I was working on my phone, stuck because she's passed out on me, right? And still getting work done because this is my business, not because I've achieved all these things. You guys, I started this mindset way back in 2011, 2012, that no matter what, I was going to show up, no matter what the day brought, okay? So create that discipline muscle and know that you got to do it every single day. And I'm sure you guys are doing the Success Club tracker because I know that Anita is obsessed with it, right? So am I. I have mine right here, okay? Number two, you guys, let go of what you don't have control over, okay? And control the heck out of the things that you have control over. A business owner, a smart business owner, will not pull people along, okay? And they know the things that they have control over and the things that they don't have control over. And they're not gonna stress out over the things that they don't have control over. For instance, you have no control over who says yes to you. I wish we did. Okay, you have no control. You have no control over who likes or comments on your posts. Man, Instagram's doing something again. I'm like, wait a second. If I would have posted this 2 weeks ago, I would have gotten however many likes and comments. Now it's like 20. What's going on? We have no control over that. We have no control over who's watching our Instagram stories. We can do things to improve that, but we still have no control over it, right? We have no control over who actually steps up and hits Success Club and rank advances. No control over that. We have no control over who shows up every single day in their business out of our coaches. We can lead by example and show them what to do, but we have no control over that. Once you can breathe and let go of that, you're going to have a weight lifted off your shoulders because it's like, okay, I only have control over me. I don't have control over anyone else's actions, right? What do we have control over? This goes back to number one. We have control over our mindset and getting rid of those limiting beliefs. We have control over that. If you know that there's an area you're struggling with and you're not dealing with it, shame on you, okay? You have control over that. If you're serious about making this business a big thing, you need to nail it down. I'll be honest. I went to therapy. I went to therapy after we lost our 2 babies last year, and I felt like I was losing myself. And I went to therapy because I knew that in order to be the best version of myself, mom, wife, CEO, I could not keep dealing with this stuff in my head without going and getting help from someone else. Okay. So it's okay to go get therapy, you guys. I rave about it. My mom's a social worker. My sister's a social worker. It's a great profession. Okay. You're not crazy for going to therapy. You also have control over being proof the product works. As much as you want to say like emotional eating controls me. Again, you guys, you can go out and have people help you with that. I went through emotional eating. I went through eating disorders. I went out and got help so that I could overcome that because I knew that health and fitness was my job. And I didn't want to keep running into those things over and over and over again. I needed the tools to get past them, okay? So we have control over what we put in our mouths. We have control over whether we do our workouts or not. You know, I praise some of the moms that I see. I think with Lindsay Matway right now, where sometimes I see her Instagram where she's working out at like midnight because, you know, she had a crazy busy day, but she still gets her workout in, okay? So I always think about that. I'm like, I don't know if I'd be able to do that at midnight, but she has control over getting her workout in, even if it's at midnight. Let's talk about Lindsay. I love Lindsay. We also have control over our actions every single day, guys. You have control over getting this done, okay? No one else does. You do. Maybe you're at the point where you have an assistant that's helping you with some of that stuff. My hubby was just growing my Instagram by going and 531ing people for me. So I'm like, yay, I get to cross that off. He's doing that for me today, okay? But other than that, you know, you have control over getting that done. And the best part of having a checklist like this is that if you can't do it all at once, you can do it throughout the day, okay? You also have control over giving value on your social media. We're no longer those coaches that are like, hey, here's my sweaty selfie. I'm not going to tell you what workout I did, but yay, I'm glistening and beautiful and blah. You know, like we have to actually give value in our posts. And you have control over that. If you can go through your Instagram, and I've had to do this before to my own account. I've gone back and I've looked and I've said, yeah, I'm not giving value. I'm doing a lot of me type posts. I need to think of what my followers need to see versus what I want to put out there. Okay, so you have control over your value or what value you're giving. So guys, when I stopped controlling my team, so I went from that hobby coach that was like, let me pull you along, let me pull you, let me control everything, micromanager, right? And I was stressed out all the time. But when I finally switched over to that mindset of, okay, I'm a CEO, I'm a business owner, I don't have control over you. Why am I stressing out over that stuff? Not only did the weight come off my shoulders, but they started to step up. Okay, they started to see, oh, Meg's not going to tag me in things. I better check the group to see when the group's like starting or the posts or when our calls are. When I stopped like texting them once or twice a week, hey, how's it going? What can I help with? I used to do that all the time, and I was always so stressed out with all the text messages. You know, they come back and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to you right now, right? Because you're so overwhelmed. They know they can get a hold of me if they need me, but instead of me pulling them along so they know I'm here, they already know I'm here, okay? So they stepped up and started to lead and match my efforts, okay? A huge shift started happening. And yeah, you're going to have some people fall off who were like waiting for that hand holding, but that's okay, okay? Eventually they'll either step up or step off, and that's okay. Number 3 or 4, I don't remember which one this is. I think it's 4. Is it 4? Okay. So to grow $1 million business, you've got to grow yourself first. Okay, so you guys notice there's a pattern. It's all about you. It's all about you to have this kind of shift in your business, okay? So in order to grow $1 million earning business, you have to grow you. You need to act like the kind of coach that you want to be right now. So if you are, I believe you guys are Emerald and higher, so Emerald coach, and you're wanting to be a 5-star or higher diamond by the end of the year, do not wait until you have that 5-star diamond qualifying in your business to start acting like a 5-star diamond coach. You've got to start acting like a 5-star right now. Now you're probably thinking, and I've had my coaches tell me this, I only have 2 coaches, Meg. I don't give a crap. That means that you can be really selfish and spend a lot of your time recruiting and focused on like what you need to do, not hand-holding your coaches, and they're going to watch what you're doing, okay? And then those 2 will hopefully step up and go to diamond, and then you're going to have more people join you. But until you have that shift, you guys, and you say, okay, I need to be that kind of coach that I want to be right now, you are not going to be attracting people who want to grow the business. So many people come to me and they say, why am I attracting discount coaches? Or why am I attracting coaches who don't show up to things? Are you showing up? Are you getting on the calls, which you guys are? You guys are on live. Are you doing your tracker every single day? Are you doing the things that you need to do every single day in your business? Are you putting that kind of presence out on social media and that confidence? Fake it till you make it, right? Because you're going to be attracting those kind of people. I'm very careful about the kind of things I put in my posts because I'm wanting to attract a certain kind of person. Okay, so make sure you keep an eye on that too, your wording, what you're saying. I had a coach say to me, I don't understand why I have these coaches who sign up and I have this amazing welcome plan, right? Like I have the welcome email and then I have my new coach training and I have all this stuff and they're just not doing it. And I had to look her straight in the face and I said, have you ever showed up and done the things that I've told you to do? And it was like, oh. Right? Like she's like, oh my God, no, I haven't. I don't do the things that you tell me to do. It goes in one ear and out the other. So make sure that you're actually doing the things that your coach tells you to do. Okay. The other thing, you guys, is that you have to have some kind of routine. And this was a game changer for me. Game changer was having some kind of routine before I start working my business. And you hear people talk about Miracle Morning and Savers and, all the stuff that they do in the morning. If you don't work in the morning, yeah, you can do that, but you're going to have to do it again later in the day. So what I do, instead of stressing myself out and saying, I need to do this first thing in the morning before my daughter gets up, because once she's up, it's chaos. I've got a 3-year-old, okay? You guys get it. It's chaos. She's, mommy, let me show you this, right? So instead of waking up earlier, which I hate, I said, okay, when I sit down to work, okay, so whatever time you sit down and do your work, I'm going to spend 15, 20 minutes right before, I'm actually doing my work, getting my head on straight so that I can be connected with the right people and I can be in the right headspace. So for me, and you have to make this fit you, okay? For me, I do like 3 to 5 minutes of meditation. I love the app Headspace. So I will grab my little headphones, because my house is always chaotic. So I grab my little headphones, put them in my ears, have my phone, turn on my app, listen to 3 to 5 minutes of meditation, okay? After that, I will keep my headphones in because they zone me in, and I will do some praying. And my prayers, I got a good relationship with God, but I don't spend 20 minutes praying. It's like probably a couple minutes, okay? And that's up to you how long you want to do it. I know how my relationship is. You know how your relationship is. It doesn't even have to be prayer if you are not religious. You can just speak to the universe, okay? But I do 3 to 5 minutes, and I talk to God, and I say, connect me with the right kind of people today. If there are people who need this in their life, guys, that's magical, because law of attraction, you're going to be bringing in the right kind of people. And when people say no to you, like when you give yourself that out at the beginning of the day, like if they're not meant to work with me, that's okay. When you get a no, it's not a big smack across the face like we all get so offended, right? You're like, that's totally fine. If you change your mind, I'm here, right? And you're going to continue to love and support that person instead of saying, I've had four no's in a row and I suck and I'm not going to be able to hit my goals this month. Like instead you're like, oh, okay, it's just not the right person in the right time. So 3 to 5 minutes of praying and getting that set up. I go through a list of affirmations. Make sure your affirmations are focused on those limiting beliefs that you had before. One of my limiting beliefs was that I could not be a good mom and wife and still crush it in this business. Because when I came into this business, I didn't have children and I didn't have a husband, and I was able to be, laser focused in on this business. And it was a huge limiting belief where I was like, okay, things have changed. I can't do what I used to do. Yes. If you have kids and you have a spouse, you absolutely can. Look at half the top 10. Okay. They're married and they have young children. So make sure that you are not letting those limiting beliefs hold you back. So instead of letting that limiting belief hold me back, an example of my affirmation was I've said, you know, when I am working, I am 100% focused on my business and doing the work I need to do. When I'm with my husband and daughter, I am 100% present and they get the best version of me. So I tell myself that every single day. Okay, Meg, you're working, you better work, because that's what they deserve. Because then if I'm with them later on in the day and I haven't gotten all my work done, where's my mind? It's not with them. Okay, so make sure that you are doing your work when you're doing work and being present with your family when you're with your family. So affirmations. After that, I go through a list of gratitude. If you haven't done this, this is something that if you add in, you're going to feel it immediately. I go through 10 things I'm grateful for every single day. 10 things you're grateful for every single day. That's going to immediately shift your mindset where you're like, I have a really good life. You know, there might be some crappy things going on. Come on, we all have crap. But I have some really amazing things to be focused on as well. And then the last thing, you guys, is just making sure that I am listening to some kind of personal development that pumps me up and gets me ready for the business. So the 10X rule by Grant Cardone, I know you guys have probably all read that. I've read it probably a million times. I love the audible version of it. He also has Be Obsessed or Be Average. I listen to something from Grant Cardone for 10 to 15 minutes before I sit down because he zones me into like getting out of my own way and just going, okay? Tip number 5, you guys, and this is the last one, okay? So, and we've talked about this a few times, but it's really important, is that Beachbody has a roadmap of how to be successful. It kills me when everyone's like, what's the secret sauce? What's working for you? You guys, we all know it's working. Using that Success Club system tracker and 10Xing it. You know, really just doing the best that you can. Instead of doing 3 to 5 invites, you're doing as many as you possibly can in one day, right? That's where the action comes from. That's where the results come from. And knowing that there's always a 60 to 90-day delay whenever you start anything. So if you started this in January, you're probably starting to see the benefits from it right now. Okay, if you started it in February, you're probably like, is this ever gonna work? You gotta stay consistent with it. You gotta earn that 60 to 90 day of momentum, okay? So don't give up, keep showing up, keep doing it, okay? Because if you're not doing those actions, you're not going to ever see your business pick up. You're not ever going to be able to go from that hobby to that full-time working coach. It has to be those little things that you see people do, you don't see people do. The little things that you don't see people doing behind the scenes, okay? We all go on and stalk those top coaches and think, what are they doing? You know, like I'll go on Ashley Molstad's and I'm like, ooh, I love her filters. You know, like I love her filters. Maybe that's why she gets so many followers. No, it's not. Or I love her content. But then I'm like, I don't see any call to actions. Wait a second, how's she doing this? What's she doing? You know, when I'm watching her Instagram stories, we're all trying to pick it apart to figure something out. It's the magic behind the scenes, you guys, of what she's doing that's creating the results. And she probably can say it. She started it a long time ago. I believe she said that on the National Wake Up Call before her momentum even picked up, okay? So you have to make sure that you are making it a non-negotiable to hit SC5 at least. You know, like when people are like, I can't hit SC5. Why are you telling yourself that? Yes, you can. You can help 3 people. You absolutely can help 3 people. That's a limiting belief that you should turn into an affirmation, right? You're attracting people who see the value in what you have to offer. So SC5, bare minimum, and at least 2 coaches. Now, if you're switching, that's like the hobby to, you know, getting towards that full time. Then when you're like, okay, I'm going to really get serious, 2 feet in, let's go, bare minimum of SC10 or higher, okay? SC10 or higher and bringing in 4 or 5 new coaches every single month. And I'll be honest, you guys, until you hit 2-star, and you've probably heard this from your leaders, this business is going to feel really hard. It's going to feel like a grind. You're going to be like, I am working so hard, and I am making $0. You know, I went and looked through my income with my team the other day, and I was like, guys, I was a diamond coach, and it would be like 200, 0, 400, 0. You know, like it just was not consistent because we were trying to build up that momentum, okay? And I felt like I was grinding and I was showing up and I was pushing so hard. But when I hit 2-star, okay, that's where my income really started to pick up. That's when I started to reap the benefits of the hard work that I was doing. No, you don't slow down when you hit 2-star, right? That's when you really pick up the gas, because that's where you see the potential in this business. But you get to basically double dip on what you're doing. So if you're an Emerald coach right now and you're like, I am showing up and I'm working 2 hours a day and I am making $0 every single week, trust the process, you guys, because if you're doing it and you're truly doing this business the way that it's intended to be, and not just mass inviting people, but actually like trying to build that relationship and connect with people and help them get results and doing all the things that you hear your upline say to do, it will pick up. I remember Carl saying, Anita and Leslie probably remember this as well, at Summit one year, he said, the way this business works is that at the beginning, you're working really, really, really hard, making no money. But then later on, you get overcompensated. And you think, there's no way, like, why am I making this much money? You know, like, how's it possible to be making this much money? But then you remember all of those hours that you put in at the beginning, and it levels out, you guys. It makes sense. You're like, okay, now I remember why I grinded so hard, okay? So just to kind of wrap up, you guys, my coaches always like to hear this stuff, but I want you guys, so hopefully you guys like it too. They want to hear what the money's done for us. You know, so from going from a hobby coach back in, 2011, who was making probably $250 a week on and off, right? And then $400 randomly. And then when I really got serious and it jumped up to, $2,000 a week, about a year later, and then it just kept growing at that point. I'm not going to go through actual numbers and insert disclaimer. What has it done for my family? So we've been able to pay off, we literally just paid off the house we just built, which was pretty amazing. We built this in 2016, but we paid off $180,000 in student debt. We paid off our first mortgage on the house that we lived in 2013. We paid it off in 2015, so 2 years later. We paid off the house that we just built, our $500,000 house, 2 years later. We've been able to pay for our cars in cash, so we're completely debt-free at this point, you guys, which is crazy to even think that. Because I remember when I married my husband and he told me he had $100,000 in debt and student loans, I kind of wanted to kill him. I was like, I'm bringing that into my life. Thank you. I already have my own debt. So it's been really awesome to be able to do that. We also, I have a 3-year-old as well as another one on the way. We've paid for my daughter's college funds. Have that set aside for her so she can go off. She will not know until she graduates that she has no debt. Same with the baby number 2. By the end of this year, we should have him all set up for college as well. And besides that, you guys, just being able to have the freedom to travel when we want and to be able to give to charities when we want, or to be able to help out family members when we want, or when something breaks in the house, right? Because that happens as well. We're able to just go and pay for that. Or, unfortunately, when we lost our baby, I have horrible insurance because I'm self-employed. I had to pay for all of that out of cash, and it wasn't something that we had to put it on a credit card. We were just being able to pay for it, you guys. That's what this business does, okay? So when you see the shiny every single week, how much people are making, think about what it can do for your family, not just in that day, but down the road, okay? Long term, leaving a legacy. I know that when my daughter's watching me, she's seeing her mom do something that she loves, that she works really freaking hard at, that she still has to sacrifice things for, but I'm hoping that she'll one-up me and say, okay, since my mom ran her own business, she doesn't have to be a coach, I can go off and do whatever, okay? So remember at the end of the day, you guys, how truly blessed that we are to be a part of this kind of company, because this is the company that they don't cut corners. If you listen to the National Wake Up Call on Monday, I was like so excited and floored to hear from, I always do, like hearing about Shakeology, because they don't cut corners, okay? They really live up to the level of what we need with this business, and not doing fad diets and having the best products out there. And it's one of the hardest businesses or things I've ever done in my entire life. You can probably ask any coach who succeeded that you're like, it's hard. I'm not going to scare you, but it is hard. Okay. But it's also the most rewarding. And I don't think I would have appreciated it as much if it wasn't as hard as it's been, you guys, because it's grown me into the woman that I am today. And that's the kind of person that my daughter and my husband and my son, as well as my parents and my sisters, that's the kind of woman that they deserve to have in their life. I had a full circle moment with my mom, because she was the person who kind of lit the fire under my booty back in 2011 when I showed her my first $250 check. I was still living at home. And she said, Meg, that's good having money, but that's not going to become something big. And I said, watch me. Watch me. I'm going to grow this into something really big. And then in February, we went and stayed with my parents in Naples. They were there for a month, and we kind of crashed their party. And I had a call very similar like to this with my team, and my mom kind of was, eavesdropping, listening in. And when I came out, she said, Meg, I'm so proud of the woman that you've become. And I know that this business has been a big part of that. And I, of course, cried, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, my mom's proud of me, right? But you guys, that's a full circle moment. And that full circle moment wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have stepped up and said, watch me. Okay, so guys, I hope this was helpful. Every single one of you can have that kind of shift. You just have to get out of your own way and go for it. So Leslie, I'll hand it back over to you.
Oh, I loved it. Thank you so much. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah, that was huge for me too. I think I'm a little bit driven like that in terms of someone saying like, oh, well, that'll never be like a real job, and I just remember having that same thought of like, not like a call out, just watch me. Like, okay, I'm going to make this happen. So I don't know if anyone else on this call like had maybe like a naysayer family member or friend or husband. Like for me, that was huge. Not that Jeff ever doubted, but I think he had his moments thinking like, what is my crazy wife up to now? And honestly, it was one of those first Success Club trips where he was like, all right, so you're proving me wrong. But
I love that.
Yes, a couple comments that people need to get out of their own way, out of their own head. Do you guys have any questions or anything else that you want to ask Meg while we have her? But yeah, I don't know that at any point in your business you ever stop having like limiting beliefs that you kind of have to like go back, pour into some personal development, or take it back to you and your own journey and, climb back out of it. I think we've both been this long enough where we've had stumbles and falls along the way.
For sure. Any coach who tells you that they don't have stumbles is lying.
Yes, 100%. Well, thank you, Meg, so much. I have like notes up in here, and it's always so fun to learn from other leaders in the network. So
sure, thank you for asking me.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much, and best of luck on your new bundle. I can't wait to see him.
Thank you. Guys, have fun on the cruise if you're going.
Will do.
Bye, guys.
See you soon. Bye, Meg. Thank you.